So we're going to be previewing the game against the Houston Rockets going down tonight. We're also going to look at the Bulls' injuries and then ask, is the Bulls' current state of play sustainable? We're going to get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's my brother, Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central, and you can tell what mode we're in, considering we're both in Bears gear.
I thought about that, like, you're doing a whole Bulls show, fully Bears down here. Number one pick, here we come, baby.
Here we come, number one pick. But with that said, bro, we got the Houston Rockets coming up in just a few hours, brother. What's your outlook on this game? The Bulls currently right now on a 3-game winning streak. The Houston Rockets right now, they are the worst team with a field goal percentage. They are towards the bottom in overall offense, 27th in defense as well, but they are the 4th team in rebounding in the NBA right now. How do you think this matchup works out for the Bulls?
Do not sleep on this team. They're just young, bro. They are just young and inexperienced, very much like the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that beat you, right? Like, so don't sleep on this team. Y'all know how I feel about Sengun. I think Sengun is a heck of a player. Just seeing his footwork, I think he's got the best footwork in the NBA when it comes to big men with their back to the basket. I think his footwork
the best in the NBA.
Bro,
wow! Okay.
Watch his footwork, bro. That man's killing it out here, and he got some moves out here. I saw somebody put a clip up with him and Akeem Olajuwon. Know that y'all relax a little bit, relax, but behave out here. But the thing that I'll say is that I think that this is a team that can catch you off guard, can put an end to this streak. Right, the Bulls are feeling good right now. They're riding a little bit high. Don't sleep on what this Houston Rockets team can do. If you allow them to, right? Like, at the end of the day, the thing with young teams is they'll often shoot themselves in the foot. So you make sure that you don't shoot yourself in the foot in most of these situations.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I think the Bulls right now, they have I've talked about it. You've talked about it. From the end of December to the midpoint in January, it's a tough schedule for the Bulls. And the last thing that I want them to do is to be looking ahead and overlook a young, scrappy team that can get hot on you. One of the things that we've seen with this Bulls team is that, hey, we already allow people to have their career night shooting 3-point range. You don't want to allow that to a Houston Rockets team that, are 9-23 on the season, but they got some players that can ball out on there. Jalen Green, I tell you what, bro. There's few players that I can admit that I was wrong on, bro. I didn't see it for Jalen Green, and I can now see the path forward for him. That boy is a beast, bro.
Oh yeah, he's got game. He and I think that it's going to come down to Io, who's going to be in the starting lineup again in this situation, right? Really doing a good job on him, trying to really contain him, and Billy Donovan running some of that action that we saw against. Who's the team we just played, bro? It's been a long weekend, bro. Against Brunson, right? Because a lot of times, right, where Jalen Brunson started coming off those screens, started doing different things, right? He was running right into Patrick Williams. I thought that was a really good defensive setup that didn't allow the point guard to really be able to attack, especially how Jalen Green does. And so I think that that's something to really key in on it and really go back and use, because I thought if you can keep them contained defensively and just get them frustrated, they're a team that you can put away quickly. They are, but you can't allow them to have that hope and that life. And I think that's been the biggest issue for the Bulls all season. We've seen them allow hope and life in everybody this year.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. And one thing that we haven't really seen the Bulls team do outside of the blowout of Dallas without Luka is them really put their foot on the team's neck and just put them away and not allow any runs back. This will be a game in which hopefully we can see that from the Bulls. Hopefully we get a Dalen Terry signing, and it's a good one because we're on the right side of a blowout. Hopefully we get that. But yeah, the Bulls, especially one of the Bulls' weaknesses in Achilles heels, has not only been 3-point shooting, but it has been when they've gotten out rebound. As I said, the Houston Rockets are the number 4 overall team as far as rebounds per game. The combination of them getting hot with rebounding can make it a difficult night for the Chicago Bulls, regardless of talent level. And that's what I hope to see. Now, one of the things that has been a key part of the Bulls' recent stretch is the big three actually playing like a big three, not only in the scoring and shooting efficiencies, but also spreading the ball around. Last game, right? DeMar DeRozan had 10 assists in that game. The game before that, Zach LaVine had 7 assists. Do we continue to see that passing? Do we continue to see this team, when things get tough, play as a team? Or do you think we'll start eventually seeing some of that rearing of the ugly head of heavy isolation ball in a matchup like this?
The tough part is, right, like right now, I don't know. Right? Like you think so, you would hope so, right? But like we've also seen the Bulls go on these runs where they look like this basketball team that we're seeing right now. And guess what they do? They revert back into the team that we've all criticized them being, right? Like too much iso ball, too much one-on-one, too much back. You know what I mean? So I want to believe that this is where this team finally is, and they're starting to play for each other and do a little bit more. I feel like that's actually what we're seeing, especially seeing as how Zach LaVine is trying to find the open guy and move the ball a little bit more. But let's not act like in this stretch, even though DeMar is coming off a game winner, really enjoyed that game, thought he played really well in that game. Let's not act like we're not on a stretch where this Bulls team right now is or hasn't seen DeMar DeRozan single-handedly take the offense out. You know what I mean? So I think there's a little bit of both to be said there. I think you know what I mean? Like, while I think we're playing better, I've still seen that old team rear its ugly head time and time again.
For sure. I definitely agree with you there. And hopefully we see that improvement and steady improvement from the Chicago Bulls team, because we need it. Somebody said that they can hear feedback, bro. I don't hear any, but just
that's what I'm testing to see if it's me or if it's you. I don't know.
Okay. No worries, bro. So yeah, we'll see what that means for the Chicago Bulls and see if the Bulls can, improve those things. One of the key things in this game is Pat goes to fix some things is the matchup of Nikola Vucevic and Sengun, not only just because of how Vucevic needs to play against him, but because one of the things that we've seen this team that's benefited this team in this stretch is them playing through Vooch, them going to Vooch down low often and early and consistently throughout the game. And that has made Vooch not only shoot better percentages, but be more engaged on the defensive side of the ball. So I do think that one of the keys for the Bulls season right now, until we get a player like Lonzo, well, not a player, until we get Lonzo Ball back, and that's probably not going to be this season, I think the Bulls need to continue playing inside out with Vooch, because he just makes the right decision with the ball more times than not. What do you think about that, Pat?
Nah, I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like, to me, if I'm looking at where this team is at and how we've seen them be better, it's been all through, hey, let me kick this mug down low, now kick it out, right? Let me Vooch is getting double team down low. Hey, the double team is perfect. That's what we're looking for, because now we're gonna engage this ball movement around, like, and especially going up against the Houston team, right? Like, they're gonna want to attack the paint. They're gonna want to pack the paint. If you get the opportunity where they just say, we just got to let Sengun go up against Vooch one-on-one, you don't go away from that.
Yeah.
You go away from it when they force you to go away from it. And I don't see the Houston team really throwing too much at Bucci, where you look at it at the end of the day and you're like, oh, he's going to be stopped. I don't think the Bulls can stop the Rockets can stop anybody else. Honestly, I just don't.
I mean, yeah, when you look at the Rockets team, like they have some offensive talent, and I would never take away from that. But it's not necessarily the team you look at and you're just like, hey, they're world beaters, right? And defensively, they leave a lot to be desired for defensively. Like I said, the 27th ranked defense in the NBA, the Bulls should be able to. But the thing that's been the biggest question mark with this team this season is that the teams that we should beat are the ones that have been giving us trouble so far this season. And especially if they're looking ahead to a Milwaukee game or something like that, I can't right now rest on the laurels of thinking that this team is just going to, they have to, we said it before, me and you both said it, they got to show us, right? They're showing us right now, but they have to show us consistently as well for us to fully believe.
Nah, for sure. And I think that's the one takeaway that for me, is that if this is a team that, you should be able to beat. You can go out there and beat. Show us that you can do it. Because I've seen you lose to these teams consistently. Yeah. I've seen you lose to these teams a ton. So show us that you can go out there and do it. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, we're going to talk about the injuries and the injury report for this game for the Chicago Bulls. But first, I got to talk to you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for your sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From pro football to college bowl season to basketball and World Cup, we've got it all at BetOnline.net. If you love sports podcasts, you can even find those at BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline is where the game starts.
We want to thank you guys for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. For your second listen, make sure to check out Locked On Sports Today for the biggest stories around the sports world in 20 minutes or less, plus instant reaction, game recaps, and Locked On's take of the day. Locked On Sports Today, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast.
All right, Pat. So we got Alex Caruso out. Derrick Jones Jr. and Javonte Green both listed as questionable for this game tonight. How do you think the injuries impact this team?
I mean, listen, they're a big deal right now, right? Like, I know there's a lot of people that look at this Bulls team and where they're at and say, hey, listen, you should be better. And I do agree that the Bulls should be better. But we also have to take into account, just because we haven't lost our big three doesn't mean that we haven't lost major pieces. And that does play into games like this, going up against Houston, right? Like, we're going in this without Caruso. A lot of guys are questionable. A lot of guys are dinged up. And here's the thing. If you're questionable.
I don't mean to stop you when you're on your run. Bad static coming from your mic right now.
Is it? All of a sudden?
I didn't hear it before, but I hear it now.
All right, let me try and fix this mic. I don't know what's going on. Go ahead and run through it.
All right, I got you, man, while you fix that. While Pat is working on some things on behind the scenes, man, this is what I'll say. Like, one of the things that has impressed me while Alex Caruso has been out is how the Bulls have not had the same type of defensive intensity when Caruso's out there, but they've been able to maintain a defensive identity over the last really 4 games. I know we're on a 3-game winning streak, but even the last 4, in certain times, like, they've been able to just maintain a certain level of defense that has been good to see. And I think that with the renewed effort on the defensive side of the ball, even without Alex Caruso being in, that's how the Bulls are going to find success. Ball movement, right? That's another one of the things that instantly got better once Alex Caruso was put in that starting lineup. Now, it's not the same level of ball movement when Ayo Dosunmu was in there, but I do think when you play through Vooch, you allow for some of that naturally to happen. Now, players still need to move without the ball. We still need to make sure the ball is not sticking in times where the other team may go through droughts or go on runs. That's usually when the Bulls kind of default back to the isolation ball. I'm really liking how it seems like the team is making a concerned effort and a focused effort to keep ball movement being there. Like I said, it's still different than when Alex Caruso's in the game. But now that you have your stars, you have DeMar, who had 10 assists in the last game, Zach LaVine, who had a game of 7 assists, and the big three overall just upping their assists as a whole. As long as you do that and the other players, the role players on this team, are hitting their shots, it makes the Bulls offense so much more difficult to guard. We're starting to see that actual, I think, the fruition of that random offense that we heard about in the offseason is that it's still coming through those main 3 players, as it should when those are, the focus of your offense. But we're seeing other players have opportunities. We're seeing Goran Dragic be able to run with the ball a little bit and just things run through him. We're seeing Ayo able to push the transition, allowing to do that. We're seeing Patrick Williams still only getting the 8 or 9 shots per game, but even then hitting the shot at a better clip, putting the ball on the floor. Kobe has been a revelation. Shots still not falling as consistent as what I would like. But again, I'm just looking at this team, and as we get Pat back, is that I'm liking the identity they're starting to build. I can't call it an identity yet because we haven't seen it as consistent over the needed stretch of time quite yet, but I'm liking the bones and what it seems like this offense is building out. Go ahead, Pat. You back?
Can y'all hear me now?
You good, bro. You good, money.
The SM7Bs are too good. This mic's been muted the whole time. Hey, that's too good, bro. I got another SM7B sitting right over here.
That's crazy, bro. So wait a second. Your mic has been muted
the entire time. And
all it did was basically add static, but we can still hear you?
So the second mic was far away, so it was picking up my audio.
Your audio has been coming through a mic that's crazy. That's wild, bro.
That's wild.
Sure.
Clap it up for sure. Clap it up for that short mic, bro. Hey, by the way, I sound great now. We're back at it. Sorry about that. No, the thing that I'll say is kind of to your point, right? Is just the injuries play a part of it, and I think that the weird part about the entire thing right now is that we're not seeing him kind of go to these younger guys in these situations and stuff like right. Like normally when you see injuries pile up, it's like, oh well, Dalen Terry's gonna get some run. We haven't seen that, and from a guy that literally like last season was like, oh well, we're gonna put Ayo Dosunmu out there, see how this goes, right? So, I think that that's the only part of it that kind of I'm looking at, and I'm a little bit confused. But I mean, like I get that we have this this mentality of because Thibs said it of next man up, and we saw it work with like point guard after point guard after point guard, and I don't know how he did it either. But that's not real sports. Like the next man up mentality is real sports, but if the next man up could do what the man ahead of him was able to do, he wouldn't be the next man up.
Yeah.
So I think that we also have to look at this Bulls team coming into tonight and this season as a whole as while it may not be the Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic, we have still been very injured this year. We have not been healthy all season. We started the year with Zach being down. We started the year with Dragic being down. We started the year with Javante being down. We started the year with Drummond going down. We started the year with, like, literally everybody on DJJ's been down. Caruso's been down. Ayo's been down. Like, we're still incredibly injured this season.
Yeah.
That plays a part in. Now, listen, you still got to play through it. You still got to win the games. And you know what? You shouldn't be getting beat by Orlando in those moments. I still side with that.
Yeah.
But there is a big difference between having your starting five going out there that you feel gives you the best chance to win and having Javante Green come in to play the two guard or having Kobe White being your starting two, or right? Like, because they're not your starters. They're not the guys that are being put in that position in practice. And so now you're putting them in that position in the game. It's going to change how you play the game a little bit.
For sure. And that's why, people who try to say that like injuries don't matter, injuries are an excuse. Like you said, I have this phrase, injuries aren't an excuse. They're absolutely a reason. Bench players are bench players and role players for a reason. Now, I do want to piggyback off you saying that it's surprising that Billy Donovan hasn't gone to the younger players a little bit more. Yep. I wonder what that is, because like even Billy Donovan said, hey, listen, I expected Ayo to come in and out of the G League last season. Whereas he came in and he showed some things, and it started off defensively, but he was able to earn some rotational minutes. Yep. Considering we've been missing Javante and Derrick Jones Jr., have not seen any of really Dalen Terry consistently. It makes me wonder, like, what is he playing uncontrolled out there at times? Like, because again, every rookie isn't built the same. Ayo was a rookie who played in college for 3 years, whereas Dalen Terry the one. Yeah. So maybe it's something like that, but I don't know there, bro.
I don't either, right? And I don't have an answer for it. And here's the thing: I don't want to see the rookies, but I think with how the Bulls have been, how the Bulls have been injured, there's been room for the rookie to get some play. I mean, listen, we're one of the smallest teams in the NBA. I don't get not playing Marco at all. Like, Marco must really suck. But I think the thing is, to me, right, like, you want to ride with your veterans. You want to go with the guys that have been in these situations before. But if you're going to get these guys used to being in these situations, and I go back to last season, I've always said this: Ayo lost us 2 games in a row. He lost them for us, like legit. Like he had, I think the game in Washington, the game in OKC, both I believe went to overtime. Ayo like turned the ball over in a way that was like god awful. He commits a bad foul. He put up a bad shot. Like he literally lost us the game. And I said, these moments are gonna happen. It was our first time having an overtime game last season. He has to be in these moments to learn from them. And the next time Ayo got in overtime, Ayo balled in overtime. Didn't commit stupid fouls. Didn't take dumb shots. Got his team in good positions. And literally was one of the reasons that we won the game. And you could clearly see, being in that position taught him what not to do. Yeah. I think that's the thing for me with Dalen, right? Even seeing Dalen in that little bit of action that we saw him in. Those are moments that you can go back on tape. Huh?
He put the clamps on Trae Young for a possession there.
All until Trae Young pump faked him out the way, and then he made it easy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, literally, like, you can go and you be like, you did a great job here. You did a great job here. You did a great job. Why'd you jump?
And you see here, this is where you messed up.
This is where you messed up. Like, now he knows, listen, I'm going up against Trae. Trae might pump fake in that situation. You're taller than Trae by like 4 feet. Just put your arms in the air. So I think that's the thing, right? Like, you have to put guys in these positions for them to start to learn to make those plays. And if you're not going to put them in those positions, they're not going to be ready. So that's the one thing with all the injuries. And I don't know if the injuries are going to stop, right? Like, usually, like, you don't get healthier as the season goes on. Like, guys usually miss a significant amount of time if they come back healthy. So if you're going to be in these similar positions down the stretch, I'd like Dalen to know what the heck he's doing on a basketball court in the NBA.
Exactly. And then you just got to pull the young man aside and be like, here's where you messed up at. This is what
you know you messed up, right? You know you messed up, right?
Oh, man.
Oh, that was funny. That was good. Hey, before we get into this final topic, what we talk about is this play that we've seen from the Chicago Bulls sustainable. We do have to tell you guys about the NHTSA. Listen, you're hanging out with some friends, putting a few back. A few becomes a few too many, and the evening comes to an end, and people start to head out. You think of calling for a ride, but nah. You live nearby. You can make it home. It's no big deal. What are the odds that you'll get pulled over anyway? And even so, it's the worst that can happen. Your insurance goes up. You lose your license. You lose your job. You total your car. You kill someone. Everyone knows about the risks of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers to save our lives on our roads. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again, play it safe, and plan ahead to get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. Brought to you by the NHTSA. Woo!
There you go. With the recent uptick in the Chicago Bulls play, a lot of things we can talk. Ball movement's been better. Defensive intensity has been better. Running out to the three-point line has been better. Playing through Vooch some. How sustainable do you think this is?
I think that's up to our stars, right? And the decision making that they made. We talked about DeMar DeRozan having the game like he had last time out, right? Versus the Knicks, where he played extremely well. I thought he did some good things defensively. Thought he moved the ball well in a lot of situations. I thought that he played a very team brand of basketball, and he still had his moments of one-on-one. But we've also seen the DeMar DeRozan that is single-handedly taking the Chicago Bulls offense and said, we're going to ball this up, throw it in the trash, and I'm going to go to the bucket, and we're going to get one shot out of this possession, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I think that's up to the stars, right? I think that's up to the play of our big three as a team. The thing that I think we've seen in the last couple of games that we haven't seen probably for most of the season is actual plays where the big three are passing the ball to each other. I know it seems crazy, but like legit, like before the last game versus the Knicks, can you really remember a highlight where Vooch, Zach, and DeMar all touched the ball and it resulted in a bucket?
I don't think we've had a play in which Zach, DeMar, and Vooch all touched the ball, and like you said, it resulted in a bucket since Lonzo Ball's been out. I'm
gonna be real with you. I started like thinking back. I was like, I can't remember one highlight where like the big three actually moved the ball to each other. So I think.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying. I think that's the key, right? Like starting with Vooch in the corner. Vooch kicked it out to DeMar. DeMar kicks it to a cutting Zach LaVine, easy lay. Like those are the things that like make teams fear you as a group. I don't fear the Golden State Warriors just because Stephen Curry. I feel the Golden State Warriors because when they move the ball, it can fall into the hands of four dudes that all can lace the three, and they just keep moving it between them four dudes.
Yep.
So that's
and then they have one dude who's just waiting there for the rebound just in case they miss it.
Yeah, it's just Draymond waiting to punch you in the back of the head. But
oh man, wow! But no, I was gonna say so. over on Chicago Bulls Central, my intro video, one of the highlights there, I think it was a highlight from 2 games before Alonzo went down, and I think that was the last time we saw a play where all 3 of them were involved in getting a bucket.
No, it's crazy, bro, because it sounds like, oh, ha, Pat and Haize are joking. Like, legit, like, go back and look. Send it to me. Like, I can't remember one before. We saw it a little bit in the Hawks game. We saw it a couple of times in that Knicks game, and it's really the first time I think we've seen it, like you said, since Lonzo went out. So I think that the sustainability of this play is on your stars, not only just playing up to par, because in the what's the game we lost? The Minnesota game, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the numbers, we all played great. Zach had 28. DeMar had 25.
All efficient shooting.
Vooch had 22. All efficient. Vooch had 11 boards. Right, he played great. But then you look at it and you're like, oh, these guys were trash.
They
the one-on-one ball,
a lick of defense.
Not a lick of defense. No one-on-one ball, or too much one-on-one ball. Right, and once you're up, I mean, they were up 20 the entire game pretty much. So once you're up that much, yeah, I'll let you do all you want one-on-one, because I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to match that bucket. So I think that's offensively, right, that is the one spot where I see it. And then for me, right, I mean, let me ask you, how have you felt the play on the defensive end has been in this little win streak that we've had? 3 games. I mean, like, I think that we've seen guys buy in on defense that we haven't seen as consistent.
Well, it seems like, and I talked about this a little bit while you were fixing your mic, it seemed like to me the one thing defensively that I can pick up on that's easy is that this team has made an effort. They have literally talked about it in the locker room, saying, hey, no more easy threes. Because there are times where teams have the open 3, but they run back. I think that Trae Young shimmy woke everybody up.
Yeah.
That Trae Young shimmy may have woke the team up to, we got to stop allowing these easy threes, fam. Yeah. Because it's been a big effort there. And then I also think they're communicating better on defense. You don't see the anymore getting caught up in rotations and the person doesn't know what they're supposed to do. I think the communication, the concerned effort to defend the 3-point line better has been there. And I'll give it to this. I know people who don't necessarily watch the game may not pick up on this. And Pat, tell me if you think I'm wrong, because I know you watch the game every day with me. It feels like Vooch is patrolling the paint better than what he has at any point since he's been a Bull.
Feels like he's been down there more, just in general. It feels like he's just been down there more. Like, I think the Bulls are starting to make the decision because, right, like, they usually have him follow the big man. Most big men in this NBA shoot threes. I think the Bulls have literally just made the decision, like, you're going to be down there. Like, we're going to run a zone. We're going to run a box and one, or we're going to run a 2-3, and you're going to be in the paint. Like, I'm not taking – like, I haven't seen Vooch defend – I haven't seen Vooch defend the 3-point line much in this stretch.
That's something I'm going to watch out today, because I haven't really picked up on that until you just said that. Something I may have to watch for specifically to pick up on. And we got breaking news. As of just 8 minutes ago, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine were both nominees for Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
Nice. Nominees, I don't know if that's different.
They didn't win.
Oh, okay. They just not got nominated.
They didn't win. They got nominated. We'll take that, right? Because I don't think anybody – Zach LaVine wasn't being nominated for anything with this play at the beginning of the season, so we're going to take the nomination.
Well, and Zach's play in December has really upticked, right? Like, I know there's a lot of people that had a lot of beef with us saying that Zach LaVine's playing better, and they were like, you're idiots. No, he's not. No, like, he was turning the ball over quite a bit. I'll give you that. But outside of that, Zach LaVine was absolutely playing better. I believe Zach averaged 25 points per game in December. He was 5 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting the ball 40-plus from 3. I want to say almost 50%. I think it was like 48% from the field as a whole.
I'll give it to you. I got the numbers up. So Zach LaVine for the month of December, keep in mind we still got 2 games left this month, but 52% overall from the field, 41% from three-point range, 84% from free throw range, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.3 steals, only 3 turnovers, which that needs to come down. As you said, he started off the month with a lot of turnovers and 24 points.
I thought turnovers would have been higher. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a lot of 7 turnover games. And like, listen, didn't he have like 2 of them in the month of the 2 is too many, by the way.
He had a 6 and a 7 and a 5 in the month of December. That's tough.
Hey, bro, listen. And listen, I get it, right? Like, in the last couple of games, I feel like, and to speak to how they played, right? Like, I feel like the shot selection has been a little bit better. He's not just driving just to try and do it and just throwing his arms up looking to get a foul, because how many of those turnovers were just like throwing your arms in the air, you lose the ball, which apparently, like, throw some baby powder on them hands or something, brother. Like, why is your hands so sweaty?
He's been hanging out with Velius Jones. You got the we need don't no more hanging out with Velius. No more hanging out.
The greatest thing about Haize has said Velus' name 14
wrong.
different ways.
15 different times. They're all wrong.
All of them are wrong. He never got to Velus one time, bro.
Is it Velius? Okay, so you say it.
Velus.
Velus. What? I feel like I'm saying it the way you're saying.
No, say it like Vaylus. Velus. Yeah, there you go.
Velus Jones. That's how you say the man's name. I got it. It's locked in now. I'm probably still gonna say it wrong 20 more times. But you got it. I got it.
Velzesus. Who the let's call that man Velveeta cheese, bro? What we doing? That is how he's been playing.
Hey, did you see that catch Velveeta had last night, bro?
Did you see Velveeta catching that on the 40? Hey, man, cheesy out here. But no, I love that the Bulls are doing the things that I feel like we've asked them to do all season, which is simply just get the ball down to Vooch, move the ball around, like just don't just hold it, and play defense. And outside, like on this streak, right? I said the Atlanta game, I said we did it 78% of the time. The rest of these games, we've pretty much done that the entire game. Nice offense, moving the ball around, doing what we needed to do. And I think that the one thing for me that will tell me, especially going up against this Houston team tonight, is do we see them take the foot off of the pedal because, we won 3 straight. People are liking us again. People are, you know what I mean? Like people are starting to feel better. Do we see them start to go back to what they want, even in the good times? Because the thing about a system is a system needs to be the system no matter what.
No matter what. Yeah, and that's one thing that the pop, that's the Pop thing, right? His system, Popovich's system is the system. It almost don't matter the players or anything. You're gonna run Pop's system. With the Bulls still being 4 games under 500, to me, you can't default back to it because it didn't work. And you even with finding a rhythm now and finding wins by that, you're still not anywhere close to your desired goal. So I would hope not. If they let this little 3-game win streak make them think they can take their foot off the gas, then listen, that says a lot about this team and the future of this team.
It does. And here's one thing I want to point out before we get out of here. For everybody that wants to fire Billy's system works. I see it. Defensive system works. Offensive system works. The question is, are the players going to work to make the system? That's what it comes down to. And the last 3 games, the players have been working to make the system.
We'll see. But that's it. Unless you got anything left, Pat, go ahead and send us.
Hey, man, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls. Make sure to tune in tonight for the live call and post-game shows that we're going to have on all the channels, man.
Definitely. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. And thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen today. Now, make Locked On Sports today your second listen. Peter Bukowski brings you the biggest stories from around the sports world in 20 minutes. Get analysis and opinions before anyone else with their local and national experts and insiders. Locked On Sports Today podcast available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls, and we out this mug.
Peace out.